Today we have had the final sentencing on LucyLetby, who was accused of killing 7 infants, 5 boys and 2 girls, while they were in her care in the neonatal unit of Chester Hospital here in England in 2015 and 2016. She was currently facing 22 charges related to those deaths, as well as the attempted murder of 10 more infants. I will attach the video of the judge's sentencing today for you to see. It is quite distressing, to put it mildly, but she has been sentenced to a whole life order, which means, from the judge's words, you will spend the rest of your life in prison. And she will. She will not be getting out, thankfully. Another extremely disturbing aspect of this case is that the medics working with Letby raised concerns in month 1, conducted an internal review, flagged it to the bosses repeatedly, but NHS management ignored them, made them apologise, threatened them with the GMC, General Medical Council, offered her a new job and a funded master's. And as many are saying within the NHS, doctors and the nurses, we need to listen when people who are qualified professionals raise awareness of these issues. I'm going to read out a letter from the doctor who helped push over a long 8 years for them to be heard about this monster, LucyLetby. He's an incredible man, full of compassion, and clearly, when he was interviewed, terribly distressed. But we take our hats off to him and his team for persevering to get this heard. Thank you. This doctor's name is Dr. Ravi Jairam, and he wrote a letter explaining the situation. Many of you are aware that due to the LucyLetby trial, I have mostly been absent from social media over the last few months. My heart goes out to the families of the babies affected by this, although nothing can ever undo the evil that was inflicted on their children. My colleagues and I have lived this for the last 8 years, and the period of the trial has been the most difficult part of this. I am proud of all the frontline colleagues with whom I work for managing to carry on providing excellent care for babies and children under such pressure. There are bad people in all walks of life, and many of them are very good at hiding in plain sight. There are also people in highly paid positions of responsibility in healthcare, whose job it is to ensure patient safety. I am relieved that the often maligned criminal justice system has worked properly this time. However, there are things that need to come out about why it took several months from concerns being raised to the top brass before any action was taken to protect babies, and why from that time it then took almost a year for those highly paid senior managers to allow the police to be involved. The truth of what happens during that time will shock you to the core as it comes out. The safety of patients should come above any risk of reputational damage, and sometimes the right decisions might be difficult and unpopular, but executive-level managers are paid to do just that. There are people out there now still earning six-figure sums, taxpayers' money, or retired with their gold-plated pensions, who need to stand up in public to explain why they did not want to listen and do the right thing, to acknowledge that their actions potentially facilitated a mass murderer, and to apologise to the families involved in all of this. However, I suspect the response will be fudge and misinformation, and it is now my mission moving forward to make sure that they are held to account. He is an amazing man, as is his team. And hundreds, if not thousands of us here in England have followed this trial, followed this case, and been absolutely heartbroken for the parents, the families of these sweet innocents who this monster so brutally murdered or tried to murder. And the important thing is, we will never forget those people and the pain that they will have to live with for the rest of their lives, and hope that they get the support they need and deserve. This has been extremely distressing, but I wanted to just put something out today, as it is such an important case. I will put a link to a podcast that was done throughout all this, which is extremely good for you to click on and listen, that you can get the full facts of this case, because this could happen anywhere, and we need to listen, and we need to be aware, all of us. So, as I say, I'll put the links in the description for you to click on, and at least that monster will never see the light of day. Take care. Thank you for listening. Carrie Pink.
This was a cruel, calculated and cynical campaign of child murder involving the smallest and most vulnerable of children, knowing that your actions were causing significant physical suffering and would cause untold mental suffering. You created situations so that collapses or causes of collapses would not be obvious or associated with you. You removed and retained confidential records of events relating to your crimes and checked up on bereaved parents. There was a deep malevolence bordering on sadism in your actions. During the course of this trial, you have coldly denied any responsibility for your wrongdoing and sought to attribute some fault to others. You have no remorse. There are no mitigating factors. In their totality, the offences of murder and attempted murder were of exceptionally high seriousness, and just punishment, according to law, requires a whole life order. LucyLetby, on each of the 7 offences of murder and the 7 offences of attempted murder, I sentence you to imprisonment for life. Because the seriousness of your offences is exceptionally high, I direct that the early release provisions do not apply. The order of the court, therefore, is a whole life order on each and every offence, and you will spend the rest of your life in prison.